guy Japhet.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not of that same line. It's a different line altogether. That's a whole other situation. Nonetheless, it does tie in directly.
So Shem, Noah, and then
From the
Noah.
line of Shem comes
Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and
Japheth.
Japheth.
Mm-hmm.
And up the line of Shem is where you get Abraham, who comes up in Genesis 12.
Who has
Who
Isaac.
has Isaac, and has Jacob, and
Who
then
becomes
Jacob comes
Israel.
to 12 tribes of
I
Israel.
thought Abraham was a Gentile.
Well, I mean, he comes from the of the land of Chaldeans. That's where he lived at.
But he's from
of
Shem.
the line of Shem, nonetheless. He's in the Shemitic line. He is a Semite, if you will, which is really a
He is
Shem.
a Semite.
See? So
Jews are thought to come
from the line of Shem.
But they
belief-
don't.
It's a falsity.
Japheth.
It's in actuality a falsity, because who they really
Many,
come from,
most of the Jews. There are
Very
other
majority,
Jews that
very
do
majority.
come from him.
it's a high majority. It's a very large number. It's 90% of the current Jews are Ashkenazi, the other 10% are Sephardic, which is a question to ask oneself, just occurred to me. Otherwise, why would there be two different sects of the same line of people? You see what I mean? That never actually occurred to me as a thought, but if you're a people, you're these people.
So can I interrupt you for 1 second?
Sure.
So we read about the Church of Ephesus today, right? And
Yeah.
the Most High, Yeshua, had something against Church of Ephesus. They left their first love, right? So he goes over 7 churches. There's only 2, and so he says, here's what I like about you, here's what I don't like about you, right? For 7 churches. There's 2 churches he doesn't have anything against. So it's like, okay, we probably want to know about these 2 churches. And it was Philadelphia, the Church of Philadelphia, and the Church of Smyrna. And those 2 churches have one thing in common. The 2 churches he doesn't have anything against have one thing in common. That thing in common might be kind of important. And that thing in common is he tells them both, you know the blasphemy of them who say they are Jews and are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan.
And that's what's important.
Who is that?
Who are those people?
Who says they're a Jew today, but are not a Jew, but are the synagogue of Satan? And that goes back to what you were saying earlier. What's a Jew? A Yehudi, a Yehuda, a Yehudahite, a Judahite from the tribe of Judah. The tribe of Judah comes through the line through Shem, not Japheth.
Right.
So if you say you're a Jew and you're not from the line of Shem, you're lying.
Quite a statement to make. I'm a line of Judah.
But
I love
hold on.
Judah.
What if you were grafted into Judah?
Okay,
You're not grafted into Judah. You're grafted into Israel.
Grafted into the tribe of
Yeah,
the tribe
but
of
they
Israel.
would.
Judah would be one tribe, right? But what would you know that you're of that tribe?
What tribe are you in? What
I'm
tribe
not-
are you? Because you are my sister. You are an
I'm
Israelite.
saying before Yeshua came, they automatically.
You're not grafted in before Yeshua came.
You see, this is
Yeshua is what allowed you to be grafted in because they rejected
No,
Yeshua.
I'm saying that people that came up from Egypt, they were grafted in,
Sure,
and they were as one.
The sojourners.
Yeah.
and I do see what you mean, you know.
Mhm.
But the
They were
reality
grafted into whatever tribe they were hanging
is,
out with.
wherever they are. That's exactly what
Physically.
wherever tribe they're at, like wherever their location is, this tribe is this. Okay, now I'm part of this tribe, and I see that argument. The reality of this argument, though, is that the Jews believe that they are of Judah, but the reality is they actually think I am a bloodline. My blood goes
Abraham.
back to Abraham. I am connected to Abraham by blood.
They
They
can
can
make these
That's-
stones.
This is a foolish statement to make. Because 1, you cannot prove this. And 2, if you try to prove it, you're going to end up right here. You're going to end up being a Khazarian. You're going to end up being a person that converted to Judaism through the people of the Khazars. So what happened was they wanted to better control the people. And the best way they could do that was to have a monotheistic religion. So Judaism was what they chose. There's a whole series of writings what took place. They call up a guy who's a Christian. They call up a Jewish rabbi. They call up a person who's influential person of Islam. Have them debate. And the debate, of course, comes back to Torah. And the only people that hold Torah as being true were the Jews. So they chose Judaism as being the true religion. But Judaism wasn't the true religion. In reality, it was Talmudism. It was the Pharisees' religion. It's 700 AD. You know, it's after the time of Yeshua. You know, these people basically took the belief of the Pharisees. And there was a split that took place later on. There's some people that became Karaites, and that's where the whole Karaite movement came from. Like Nehemiah Gordon is a
Who
Karaite.
denies Yeshua?
Does not believe in Yeshua. Yeah, but nonetheless holds the Torah somehow.
So what?
Yeah, I know.
He denies
It doesn't
Yeshua.
make any difference. But nonetheless, that's where they all came from. The majority of them are Orthodox Jews, and that's where Orthodox Judaism comes from. The people that say they're Orthodox Jews today, the great majority, 90%, are actually Ashkenazi Jews. And I've brought this up before as an argument, but there is a prophecy in Genesis 9 where he says specifically, let Elohim enlarge Japhet and let him dwell in the tents of Shem and let Canaan become his servants. So this is a prophecy we've actually talked about this 3 weeks ago, where specifically he says Japhet will be increased. And can anyone say Japhet is not increased in the world today? You know, the line of Japhet is they're very increased.
They're prominent.
They are highly prominent in the world today. Let them dwell in the tents of Shem. They will live where Shem lives. That's exactly what's taking place. And I actually think that's what Jesus means in Luke 21:24 when he says, the land will be trodden down by the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles is fulfilled. They will live here in this land. They went and took this land of Israel, these people that are Khazarians. They're separate. They're not even of the same line of people. They came and took this land. They live where Shem lives. And Canaan will be his servant. Lots of great examples. If you don't know about the land of Canaan, Canaan is an offspring of Ham. Ham is the land that we currently call Africa. Africa is a land that's been highly ravaged of resources. They've taken Ham to be servants. A great example of that is King Leopold. King Leopold came directly into the Congo to get rubber from a tree because he was able to supply that rubber to troops for World War I. It's a whole other story about King Leopold the Great. But nonetheless, Canaan, the land of Africa, has been highly ravaged to make...
and the British stole it and took it to South America and then took it to Malaysia. Oh, yeah.
To this very day.
It's a huge conspiracy.
Canaan is a servant to Japhet. No question about it. They're highly servant to the line of Japhet. And if those three people were the entire land, was the world divided. But that's basically the whole thing.
Yes, sir.
Therefore, Revelations 2:9, Revelations 3:9, know those who say they are Jews but are not, but do lie. Who are those individuals? There's only one group of people today who claims to be Jews that I can ever think of, and it is indeed the people who are not Jews.
Very interesting.
And how were the Tsars
Plotting or something.
connected to the Ashkenazis again? Like,
Oh yeah, the Khazars they admit it freely. We have their writings even that say, actually our line is of this. They trace their line back, and their line goes directly to Japhet. Shows that we are the sons of Gomer. There's a great letter that was written between a Sephardic Jew who's in Spain and the king who's called a Bulan in Khazaria. Because Khazar was a mighty empire. It was a very mighty empire. And the only real Jews, if you will, and I still hold that some of them probably are, were the Sephardic Jews. They're of North Africa, Spain, that whole area right there around the Mediterranean. So Judaism is broken into two pieces. There's Ashkenazi Jews and there's Sephardic Jews.
If you ask a Jew, they'll tell you which one they are.
They'll tell you immediately. What kind of Jew are you? Oh, I'm an Ashkenazi. Or I'm a Sephardic. You'll almost never hear that. It's very, very rare. Because they're only about 10% of the Jews. So the Sephardic Jews are along the south. They're southern Jews, if you will. They're across the North Africa, Mediterranean area into Spain. When you talk about the
like Rico Cortez says he's a Sephardic Jew.
Yeah, he is. So it's very few. It's very few in number. The great majority of Jews will be Ashkenazi Jews. They come from Ashkenaz. Ashkenaz is like Poland,
Hungary,
northeast or southeast, whatever, Eastern Europe. That's where they come from. That's why Hitler's able to fight all these people. All these people are Ashkenazi Jews. They're Shemites, according to the word. So, kind of where we're going there, I guess, is there's that whole split right there, and I guess that's really about it.
Amen, brother.
Wow. Quite a history lesson.
But see, that kind of ties into what we were talking about today about the Messianic Jews, right? Or the Messianics, who, like, all right, we have Yeshua and we keep Torah, but they go after all these so-called, that's why I said today in the sermon, so-called Jews, so-called Jewish traditions. These aren't Judah traditions. These are traditions that come out of Babylon, that come out of the Khazars, and they're not of the Most High Yah.
so Talmud came specifically.
Talmud came out of Babylon. It's called the Babylonian Talmud. And so they go into captivity, and when they came back, they've got all this weirdness in them, and that's what Yeshua was railing against.
But this is what the people from Khazaria took as being the religion of Judaism. That they took the Talmud as being tradition. And all these writings are there. They're available. You can see, how the Khazars went through different series of beliefs. boycott this, all in the line of Judaism. He thought this was the belief, he thought this was the belief. There's records of them sending people to Babylon, sending
That's right.
people to Egypt to find out what did the Jews believe, bring back Jewish scholars. And what did the Jewish scholars teach? Talmud, you know. There was whole fights taking place between these people are kind of like us in the sense like we believe just the scriptures. Those became Karaite Jews, even though they believed before nonetheless, but they're there previously.
They're closest to us
But
because they're like, show me
they're
in the
the
Word
closest
where it
ones.
says this.
The
If it
scriptures
says this,
don't
I'll
say
do it.
this.
If it doesn't,
And there's fights between them and the other Jews who say, well, the sages say this,
The sages say,
same thing as
man.
we deal with today.
the sages say,
And
don't
it's
tell me
an
what the sages say.
extremely uncomfortable topic, as I noticed, over and over and over again. It's an extremely uncomfortable
It's
thing.
politically
It is
incorrect.
highly incorrect, extremely politically incorrect belief. Like, really enough to name names, but nonetheless, it is extremely politically incorrect. You bring this belief up because the whole book teaching that everybody has is the Jews, Judah, is holding to this belief. We are these other people who are coming in. I agree with that. I see what they mean. I understand what they're saying. The problem is, and the reason that people leave this belief to join this belief, is if these guys were right about this, what else are they right about? Maybe everything. Maybe everything I learned was a lie, which is pretty close to being true anyway. And they leave and they go to Judaism. Judaism is a satanic religion. This is
Amen.
not what it appears to be at all.
And the
They don't
people
have
who
this-
are in the nation state of Israel today are not Yah's
Not
chosen
them.
people.
You can tell just by the land. They sell shrimp and fish and lobster. They
Yeah,
have
look at Tel Aviv. They have the
huge
biggest
gay
like
pride
gay
parade
parade
in the world.
in the world in Tel Aviv. Come on.
In Tel Aviv, where Ezekiel was writing his prophecies and stuff, like, come on, this isn't real. It's not a real thing. The Most High does not need a nation to have conspiracies in order to take a land. He
Amen.
said that the second Exodus will be larger than the Exodus out of
You're not even
Egypt.
going to
You know what I
remember
mean?
the
You
first
won't even remember
Exodus.
this one. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't need this. This is the fallacy. They killed a bunch of people and they decided to set up a land thinking they were fulfilling the prophecy. Most High doesn't work like that.
Okay, so you're saying like the argument that people use that the second Exodus has already happened with the whole 1948 Israel thing.
Baloney.
Oh,
Complete
yep.
baloney. Total baloney.
The second Exodus will happen.
Yeah.
We'll be part
But
of
it
it.
was prophesied that it will become a nation.
Look,
But I agree with there's
it's
gonna
not how
be
it seems.
greater.
This situation that's taking place, like, this has basically become my test of things. I guess I've never told you guys this before. So it's going to be interesting. This is my test of stuff, basically. For Christian prophecy, I wait and see if they follow the commandments of the Most High. If they follow the commandments of the Most High, then I'm like, all right, I'm giving you to that. If they don't believe Torah, don't believe commandments, of the Lord, get out of here. With this ridiculousness that you're talking about, you drew up on a board or whatever, it doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
If they follow the Most High, okay, I have to it. I'm like, all right, I want to see, you know, because maybe we disagree, but we agree on stuff.
Right.
You know, but at least we agree on Torah. If they agree on Torah, and then the next thing is it goes off the year of this prophecy, I'm like, I'm going to wait and see for that prophecy to fail, because it will, because this is not of the Most High. This is not the Most High's creation. And I've basically been proven right almost always on it.